What's going on? It's your boy HDK, and today coming with another video. Really interesting price movements on Bitcoin. Let's go check it out. Let's go. Alright, boys and girls, so this is the time around the world at the time of this recording. Let's get straight into the market. Alright, so overall the market cap decreased about 2.5% overnight. We are seeing that the volume is coming up, which is interesting. And then also to see that the Bitcoin dominance is actually, remaining quite steady at the moment as well. Bitcoin nice at $37,000, Ethereum at $2,500. And look, rest of the market seems quite on track for the way Bitcoin and Ethereum is moving. XRP looks like there's a good point of entry there for most of you out there. And look, and there is a rumor out there, coins like Dogecoin and also Polkadot is going to be quite slow to actually come follow the market movements when, for example, Polygon is probably going to bounce the hardest when there is going to be a bullish spike on Bitcoin and Ethereum. So those are some of the things that you need to take note of. As you can see, coins have performed variously. Monero, they're behaving completely different to the market at the moment as well. And we're going to see more and more of that across the market, in that there's going to be blue chip alternative sort of smaller cap coins that are going to come up where people are going to go to as a safe haven when the Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to dump a little bit. But look, we're going to have a look at why that's happened. Let's first look at the Bitcoin chart, what's happened over the overnight. So we went as high as $41,000. Now we had a dip as low as $34,000, quite comparable to the previous drops, but not as much. Now, I did comment that we did not have enough volume in that correction to see the price action crack above the $42,000. Now we're sort of in that $36,000, $37,000 mark. And look, I might even suggest that it might dip even further as we expect the next couple of weeks to be even more volatile. And look, that's because there's about $2.1 billion of Bitcoin options that expired today. So option in a nutshell is a derivatives contract that provide buyers with a right but not the obligation to buy Bitcoin at a certain price in the future. So it's kind of like a buy order that expires on that one day. And so a lot of that buy position is going to be flushed out of the market, if that makes sense. So that's why there has been that dip, and it was a dip that was expected for this very reason. But it's really interesting to see that even at this level, traders are not really so keen on getting in on the dip. It's because I think a lot of us are actually expecting the price to dip even harder. Like, a lot of people are really worried that the price is going to dip, but a lot of the better traders out there have quite a bit of clarity at the moment, knowing that they know where the price is going to go to, and based on these prices, they're going to take action and buy further into it. And we're going to see the difference between the pro and the noob investor activity as we see some data in a minute. But the thing is, for the long-term buyers who are the more professional ones, I think they are not really looking at this price action as a point of entry yet, because we know where the whales are going to be testing the market, and those are going to be more close to the resistance and the support levels that we are seeing in the chart that I'm drawing at the moment. So what are we actually seeing in the market? Well, we're seeing that a lot of recent selling has been done by coins aged 1 month to 3 months, and also 3 to 6 months old. So people who haven't owned coins for a long time are sort of seeing the fear in the market, and they're sort of exiting the position. So that's obviously how it's going to happen. And obviously for those of us who are the long-term holders, they have been steadily accumulating in this time. So what do I always say, guys? Just average into these positions. That's all you're going to need to do. So that's another thing. So always keep that in mind. And we're going to move on to the Matic chart. All right, so today it actually dipped as low as $1.74, and we do expect it to go reasonably high up to that $2.50 mark. And look, that could have been a great port of entry, because that's quite comparable to the previous low that we saw. But look, in saying that, we did go as low as 76 cents in the recent dip. So my suggestion is that let's try to, even at this level, you can sort of average in if you wanted to. But yeah, once again, price of Bitcoin isn't quite there yet. But yeah, we did see some pretty crazy volatility recently as well. So just be careful with Matic as you average into it. I mean, if you did average into that low there, $1.66, you would have been still a cool, like 15% up from that little low there as well. But this dip happened when the price of Bitcoin only dipped down to $29,000. So if we expect the price of Bitcoin to go even further down to that $20,000 mark, then we're probably going to see a dip even on Matic, even lower than that. Although there's quite a lot of hype on Matic because of Mark Cuban and the scalability solution that it is for Ethereum, that we probably might not see a dip greater than that. But around that 70-cent mark, for me, that would be a definite buy scenario that I would seriously consider entering into. Another great news for Polygon today is that Google Cloud now provides blockchain insights for Polygon network. And here are some benefits that are attached with that. So Polygon's data sets have now been listed with Google Cloud Marketplace on the public financial services category. category. And the benefits of the integrations are set to include the monitoring of gas fees and smart contracts and determining the most popular tokens and applications on the network. Google BigQuery is an information warehouse that acts as an indexer, allowing powerful data analysis. This can be performed across multiple blockchains, enabling comparison between networks or tracking of interoperable tokens. Polygon said that being able to gain insights from a 6 million plus daily transaction on its blockchain will go a long way towards growing and building the Polygon and Ethereum ecosystem. So this is not only good news for Polygon, but this also means that it's a good news for Ethereum. The keyword that you're looking for in this scenario is scaling solution. So with Ethereum, one of the biggest pain points for Ethereum is just scaling, the gas fees, all the rest of it. So all these L2 solutions are coming up, Polygon, that's going to be really, really significant for the growth of that Ethereum platform. Once that problem gets solved, then the use case really expands out onto the Ethereum. And we've seen how strong that is in the past. And this is all going to contribute towards that eclipsing of Bitcoin that we're expecting later in this year as well. We're also seeing that Binance Smart Chain is taking steps for better compliance so that it's actually working with CipherTrace that will support Binance Smart Chains. They have done this so that they can seem better to the regulators. And this actually puts a bit of a stop to, any kind of illicit activity, namely the recent activity that we saw on Pancake Bunny, where this hacker went onto PancakeSwap and borrowed a huge amount of BNB, and then they used that to manipulate the Bunny market. And then once they bought a huge amount of it, they dumped a huge amount of it again, and then they paid back the BNB afterwards. So that was a contributor to a huge crash that we saw on Pancake Bunny. And I guess these kind of measures that they put in place and the partnership that they have with CipherTrace is going to be putting a bit of a control over those kind of issues. Another exciting news on the NFT sector is that they're going to be working with Sotheby's Internationals to auction out those CryptoPunk as a solo auction event. It's a standalone auction and it's going to be huge. This particular artwork is considered to be the first ever NFT, and it seems like people are really, really excited about it. There is some discussion about how much this will sell for, and the recent on-chain alien sale, which was CryptoPunk 3100, which is different to what's on sale right now. It's over 4,200 Ethereum, which is about $10 million in today's Ethereum prices. It's really interesting to see that really traditional and established companies like Sotheby's are looking at NFT as an opportunity for them to expand their business, and it's definitely a good sign for an uptake of cryptocurrency NFTs in the real life application, which is really encouraging to see, and one that's going to really boost up the adoption of this technology across the world. Another bullish news for Ethereum today is that there is a second Ethereum EFT that's applying for SEC. So WisdomTree, a financial services company, has filed for an Ethereum ETF. And as you know, ETF is something that regular investors, and I'm talking really investors that don't even know anything about cryptocurrencies, can invest into. So ETFs traditionally existed that, you can buy an ETF that specializes in a group of stocks that would specialize in a particular sector. So this is a pharmaceutical ETF. Then if you put $1 in there, that dollar will be then split into investing into all these different companies in the pharmaceutical industry. Or technically an indices is some form of an ETF, I guess, in that there is one company that invests into all of these companies, and you invest in that one company, and the gains and the losses of their investment, their diversified investment, will then be reflected out onto it. And so this one, we have an Ethereum ETF, and because it will be a security, they would have to be registered with SEC. No, this is not any sort of bearing into the XRP case or anything like that, because this is just a very open ETF registration, which will have to be registered with SEC. But this does signal a much broader uptake by the public, so they can have exposure to the Ethereum asset, to cryptocurrency assets, which we've established recently that there has been a lot of institutional demand, and this will become some form of that institutional interest in this environment. So WisdomTree is the second firm to file for an Ethereum ETF after VanEck. So this is the second company, and it looks like it's sort of following that trend of institutional investors wanting to come into the market. Lastly is another scaling solution that we are seeing for Uniswap. So as we know right now, Uniswap is on the Ethereum network, and there's a need to constantly improve the scalability of Uniswap. So when I say scalability, I'm talking transaction, I'm talking gas fees. They're the predominant ones anyway. So what they did was they said, look, why don't we then deploy Uniswap V3, which has been absolutely kicking ass recently. And it is the #1 DEX right now by volume, like by far. And within 2 weeks, it became the second largest DEX. And within 3 weeks, it became the first largest DEX. If you want to see more information on that, check out my previous video. And so looking at this new deploying of Uniswap V3 to Arbitrum. It's really interesting to see that there has been a vote and there is a very, very strong vote for this deploy. So we're looking at the proposal of deploying the Uniswap. So we can see that Arbitrum went live for developers today, giving them access to the layer 2 scaling solution. Arbitrum offers drastically higher transaction throughput than Ethereum and gas fees that are up to 270 times lower. The total value locked in decentralized finance apps on Ethereum has swelled up to 62 million. Having a large total value locked isn't particularly great. That's why in the previous video, we have seen that they were boasting about reducing the total value lock. And with this total value lock, gas fees have spiked, making transaction fees on DEXs really expensive for smaller users like you and me. So the quest to make DeFi more and more accessible, they voted to deploy the Arbitrum, and that is a step towards that scalability. And guys, scalability is so important because things like Polygon, right, offer the scalability solution to Ethereum, because we know that scalability is a pain point of Ethereum. Similarly, we're seeing that Arbitrum is going to become pain point solution to Uniswap, right? The question of that scalability is a really, really important question. And that's part of the reason why I love XRP as well. So guys, that wraps up just about the news that we have for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't done so, please go like, share, subscribe, go check out my TikTok. You know what to do. Show us some love. Go click on some links below so that you have access to some of the cool things out there. If you haven't considered investing into cryptocurrency yet, please do so. Any research that you need to do, you can start from my videos here. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Peace.